what's the biggest challenge that you see your customers face that, Pipeshift solves, like in terms of deployment or hosting, etc.?
I think the biggest challenge is TCO, the total cost of ownership at core. So people can use open source models from API providers out there who are literally having a race to the bottom of throwing more money at it and subsidizing costs and getting like 10 cents per million tokens, 20 cents per million tokens. What people don't realize is that's not the model that works with the kind of customers we work with, who require dedicated compute. Because just to give you an example, say Poker and Pipeshift, both are two companies and both are using an API from a provider. And suddenly Poker gets a lot of requests. So maybe there's a bot that's hammering requests to Poker. And say, I was an application company and I'm also using the same deployment. There will be peak time performance differences. So for companies who are working in environments where SLAs are important, latencies are important, production grade reliability is important, that is a really risky model. So the flip side of this is when you go into a place where you have dedicated compute, where you can partition memory. So maybe just have 20 gigs of the GPU rather than having the 80 gigs, and slot more models, but at least reserving the 20 gigs for that model. And then being able to scale up, scale down rapidly, so that if there is no usage, you can scale down to zero. But if there's sudden usage, you can have like a sub 1 minute cold start and just get everything up and running and start running it. And if there's scale up required, you can scale things up and then scale things down, back down. So it's a lot of the problem is around this TCO problem, because the only answer till date was you go ahead and use an API, which is per token, or you go ahead and start reserving GPUs for a month and start deploying models on it, which is like $15,000. So there's a huge gap. So what we're trying to do right now is giving you a pay-as-you-go like experience as you move from an API to like a dedicated, long-term, reliable system where things can just scale up, scale down as per your requirements. You can partition out memory and utilize as much memory you need for your production workload and concurrency, and it will scale up flexibly. It becomes pay-as-you-go. Still, you don't have the bottlenecks of an API. And parallelly, GPU memories are really inefficient. So if you look at even an AWS deployments, they'll probably get you 1,000 to 2,000 tokens per second of throughput, and even hundreds for smaller models, while we can give you like 6,000 without compressing the model, pruning the model, or quantizing the model, purely because we are able to ship custom CUDA kernels and write our own inference pipelines that allows us to free up memory faster and make it more optimized for you. So you get more dollar efficiency on the memory that you reserve as well. So if you reserve a small amount of memory, that's scaling up, scaling down, scales to zero. But whenever it's up and running, it will handle a lot more requests than what it would if you had just started using like off-the-shelf stack that your cloud provider offers by default. So I think that allows you to reduce the TCO, and I think that's what we're trying to solve for people.